For those of you who don't know me, I'm Nick Budd and I'm the Chair of the Trustees at the present time. I'd like to just welcome everybody here this afternoon, but I'd particularly like to welcome the High Sheriff of Gloucestershire, Roger Head. Thank you very much indeed for coming, particularly coming in your regalia. I'd also like to thank guest speakers. So that's the Trust Our Voice group, who are going to be doing a piece later on. And obviously later on we're going to have a video presentation by Morag Norman. So thank you for going on video, Morag. I think it's worth saying at this stage, in terms of what are the pressures coming on the Trust over the next year or so that we can easily predict. One is the fact that the living wage is going to be pushed to £7.20 and then beyond up to over £9 in the next 5 years. That's going to have an effect on our staffing costs. And also we have the issue of sleepover shifts, which at the present time most people in the care sector pay a fixed sum for. Waiting the wings, of course, is the fact that we ought to be paying the national minimum wage for all those hours, and that will have an effect. The cumulative effect of those two things, if nothing else happened in terms of income, that would cost the Trust about £100,000 to £110,000 per year. So they are significant costs for us. And of course those costs are all funded to a large extent by the local authority, who themselves are under an awful lot of pressure at the present time. So there's a lot of book balancing that has to go on. But just to let you know, that's what's facing us at the minute. Clearly things change. Clearly, government can make different decisions, and we hope they will. So that's a very brief summary of where we are in terms of financially. If you want to ask any questions, please feel free to do so. I'll obviously immediately palm them off to somebody else to answer, but if you've got any questions, please fire away. So I think in summary, we're in a much better situation than we were last year. Our job as trustees is to ensure that this organisation carries on in perpetuity. We are not like other organisations that can fail. We mustn't fail, so we have to take a prudent approach to the finances. We're in a much better situation than we were last year, mainly due to the fact that we're much better in control of our costs. We actually know what we're spending and why we're spending it. And certainly the benchmarking report we get every year says that we're actually doing very well against the benchmark in terms of being able to take the input of money and actually spend it on the people for whom we're set up for. So I think that's a good thing on our side. So, if there are no questions to do with the finances, we can move on to the formal piece of election of trustees. Each year, two trustees have to stand for re-election. This year it's Chris Duckett and Keith Carswell, who's at the back. If anybody has any objection, they both wish to stand again, please speak now, otherwise we will propose and second them forthwith. They still want you, Keith. You can't walk away. There you go. So if we can propose and second those, that'd be good. Thank you very much. Thank you. We also have to formally reappoint the auditors. I see no reason not to reappoint them. So, and again, unless somebody objects, we reappoint the auditors as we go forward. So that's the formal and slightly dry bit. We now come on to the more interesting part, which is first of all Gareth giving his CEO presentation, and then we've got some external speakers. So over to you, Gareth.
Cheers, thank you, Nick. It's been a difficult year, as Nick alluded to, and I'll go through with some of the difficulties we've had, but thank you for the sandwiches. Sandwiches were actually done by our students and service users, so a big thank you to them. But for those get nicer sandwiches this side of the River Wye, do you, Dean? So yeah, it was really nice, so thank you. We've seen a lot of changes, mainly in education. Some of you in this room know, and most of you do, I think, we lost our education funding for the over 25s. everybody lost it throughout the country, not just the Orchard Trust, and that was a big proportion of our service users and students. So what we've had to do something called ACE, which stands for Activities, Creativity and Engagement. And basically what we've tried to do is make it service user led. So I had a meeting with the service users, and for example what they said to me is they want to do more drama, so we can do that and put on plays. They want to do more pottery, they want to do more gardening, so we can make it service user led. Because we tried to put a positive spin on it, it was a huge chunk of funding. So we did actually lose a lot of money and some staff, but we've created it, and what happens now is we don't have to tick boxes. I had to tick boxes for everybody, no matter how profoundly disabled they were. They had to tick their box to say they were doing maths and English, for example. We don't have to do that anymore. So hopefully it'll be better, and I'd welcome your feedback on how it's going, because it's only started on September the 7th, so we're early days, but hopefully we're getting there. We're also diversified, and we're going to do a new day service provision for people with dementia, because we do an activity champions things, and there's a lot of interest in elderly care homes around which is a lot in the forest. In dementia, we don't actually have the resources or facilities that we've got in the trust. And I do think we're underutilised at our lodge and our learning centre, for example. So what we're doing, with the help of Fran, who is here somewhere, there you are, Fran, we're going to do like reminiscence pods. And for those of you who don't know what they are, you can create an actual room or a beach, as you can see there. So you could create an old like 1950s, 60s room with like a radiogram in it, an old-fashioned telly, a mangle, an old Bakelite phone. And I said to Fran, when we were doing this, I was a bit worried because I can remember all of that. So it was just like walking back into my man's house. But it is actually, it should be really good, and we're hoping that will start the end of this year, the start of next year, and it should be really useful as well for us to interact with the care homes roundabout in the locality. We're also having a vintage dementia tea party on the Friday the 18th of December. For those of you who remember our vintage tea party back in May 2013, which was a huge success, and a few of you were here then. It was a great success. We had an old gramophone record and everything. So hopefully the Christmas one will be more of the same. Apprenticeships is a new thing for us. Staff recruitment is difficult. We employ 150 people. So we're a huge employer in the forest, but sometimes we're competing with the likes of Tesco and Aldi and Lidl for the same sort of staff, really. And all I want is for our staff to care, but obviously we want to create, there's a lot of school leavers who find it difficult to get jobs and find careers in care. I think most of you know, but I started as a volunteer and then a care assistant and worked my way up. So you can get a career in care if you care and if you want to. And we're hoping that apprentices will identify people like me who think, well, you know what, I'm not sure what to do, but the Trust is a good organisation, and if we get the mentoring right, I think we can really be an asset to the young people of the forest. So again, it's a new thing what we're doing, but it's involving the local community, and we've been to a few of the schools now with John Cale, for example, and hopefully it'll take off. There's been a few staff changes that remember these photos. Robert on the right there is our new trustee, sitting at the back. Most of you will know him from his silver band, which play at our Christmas Carol concert. Kathy, our head of finance. Julie is manager of Seven Oaks. Anthony, head of operations. And Lorraine, all here, who's the new deputy. And they're all internal promotions, really. So we're really proud. And I'm really pleased that we still can attract really good quality staff. So I am really, really pleased. The small holding. Most of you would have seen the pygmy goats, which Anthony said this morning. They've been a huge success. They were a bit shy when we had our summer fair, and it was raining, to be fair, but since then they've come into their own, and they're brilliant with the service users, and they're really, really good. The sheep are Beulah sheep, I think I'm pronouncing it correctly, and what my big plan is for them to gain accessibility. So at the minute, when the sheep have lambs, we have to show it on a webcam because it's really hard for us to get people in wheelchairs access to the lambing shed. What we want is money to get accessibility to that shed so they can actually go and pet them when they're just born. We're selling more of our eggs as well, and we're trying to sell them in the local shop in Lickbrook and far in the field. So again, we're trying to help the local community, so it should be good. Activity champions, again, ties back to our links with elderly care, really. A lot of elderly care people don't have an activity coordinator. We have activity champions in all our services, and basically what it means is activity is an everyday thing. It's not just basket weaving or pottery once a week. You live your life by doing activities. It's a simple thing like going to the chip shop or talking to somebody or talking to them about their mum and dad or their holiday. So we don't just do task-oriented conversations. And again, our links with elderly care have done really, really well. We got £5,000 to do this, which is a great credit to the Orchard Trust, because there was a lot of people tendered for it, and we won it. So the next meeting is actually on the 18th of November, actually at Hynham, Roger, so next door to you. So yeah, so look forward to seeing you there. Service users, we've had a new service user at Office Dyke, who's only 17 years of age, but he's settled in really, really well. And I would like to mention Ruth at Morelands and the staff team at Morelands, because Ruth is a huge success in the trust. She was quite vulnerable, and she came and lived in Morelands for 18 months, and she progressed massively. She's a real credit to the staff team there and to Jill and Liz. To the extent she works in charity shops, she had a relationship, and she moved out and lived independently now. And it just shows you, if you come to the trust, you can actually progress and move on to live independently, because sometimes I think people just think, well, you can come here and you live here forever and that's all it is, but we can actually help people progress if they've got the ability and they've got the support network. So she's a great success. We've still got vacancies in Morelands, which is in Lydney, Orchards, and at Seven Oaks too, which we're obviously trying to fill those. Morelands, I mean, I spoke to Jane and Chris. Jane and Chris are Gloucester County Council Commissioners, and you'll know this used to be what I call the Naughty Boys Home. So on the right is where Morelands live, or Chris lives and everybody now. On the left is still derelict, and it has been for a good 5-6 years. So my plan was to open it again and put more people with learning disabilities in there. Now, Chris and Jane, I promise not to say anything bad about them today, so I won't. But the Gloucestershire County Council's plan is an all-age, all-disability plan. So basically it means they don't want too many people with the same disability in one house, is that correct? So, but there are other people who have a certain vulnerability that would be suitable for next door, and it could be anything. It could be ex-servicemen, it could be physical disabilities, it could be children. So that's our plans for that. So yeah, my plan is to talk to Chris and Jane and their colleagues and to see what we can do, because I don't want to waste it really, because it's a beautiful building, and the arrangement we have with the landlord is he'll let us decide what we want to do with it. So that's what we're going to do. Fundraising. There's our guys outside the Salvation Army clothes bank, which we get half the funding every time it's full, and the Salvation Army sell the clothes. We get half and they get half. So there's one in our car park in Libbrook, and there's one at Seven Oaks. So yeah, so it's, if you've got any old clothes or anything, please free to drop them off, and it all goes to the Orchard Trust. Yeah. Not. I thought you were going to say, can you put his clothes in there? The Summer Fair and Dog Show, for those of you who remember, we combined it this year. It was very, very wet. It doesn't really do it justice on the page, but it rained literally the whole day, our first time. But I said to Keith on the day, at 6 years I've been here, that's the first wet day we've had. The rest of the time it's been brilliantly sunny. I was actually roped in to do the dog show judging, which I know nothing about. So I blagged it really, but I've had no complaints. So whoever were the winners was but Rachel there on the right was dressed up as the dog costume, and it was a really good fun, and Chris won an award, and it was a really good day despite the weather, and again it raised about £3,000, so we're really, really pleased. Sensory Garden at Seven Oaks. That is, if this is underway, the GCHQ people came and helped us, and they dug and they worked for a day. They didn't want their photos taken because of where they worked, so we had to pixelate them. Because they're civil servants, they had to have a cup of tea on the hour every hour. But they actually worked brilliantly. They actually did really, really well, and I thank them all, and it's really taken off. You can see Graham on the digger there. I think you can see, you can probably make out it's an actual face, and you can see the eyes there and the mouth and the thing. So when it's completed, it should be good. And contrary to rumour, that face is not me of a Friday night. So. Yeah. So this was in the review in the local press. Julie, am I allowed to mention your news today or not?
Yes, you can.
Due to the photogenic Julie being in this, and Graham and Scott, who's in the middle, who works for the Rewire project, a lady rang Julie up this morning and gave her £5,000 for the Sensory Garden. So it's really, it's heart-touching and it's really, really good. And it just shows the power of publicity, because it's one thing in the trust we weren't really good at before. And I think it's really good. It shows if you can get a picture in the paper, people will give you things, so it's good. So well done, Julie. And Trust Our Voice Group, which are going to do their presentation in intro, be a lot funnier than mine, but there's Paul is the new chairman who just got elected, didn't you, Paul? Well done. Yeah. I would like to propose a vote of thanks to Dean, who did remarkably well and moved the Trust Our Voice Group an awful lot in the last year, so well done, Dean, thank you. Friends of the Orchard Trust. Now, Larry, I've just had a quiet word outside of Larry, because Larry can go off message sometimes. And he's promised me he's going to be as good as gold, because I've got his script, so I know what he's supposed to say. But I'll leave that to judge you. But the Friends, in all seriousness, the Friends of our Orchard Trust are a new group, and their purpose is to raise not massive amounts of money, but the smaller amounts which make real differences to our service users. But Larry will tell you all about that. I just want to thank you in this presentation, because it's a lot of hard work, and people don't realise the hard work behind the scenes that you do. And also, you've got a real treat, because last Friday, I think it was, me and Sarah and Mark spent the day at Morelands' house, and she's done a lovely video about David and Jeremy living and bringing up and living at the Orchard Trust, and it's a real treat. It's really, really good. So that's at the end of today, and you'll please stay, because it's going to be brilliant. Future plans, Morelands I've spoken about. Small holding again, I really want accessibility. And accessibility is an easy word to say, but it's so hard. At the minute you start laying tarmac or digging roads, the money goes through the roof, so it's really hard. But it's close to my heart, accessibility. I really think everybody should be able to get everywhere within the trust, otherwise it doesn't fit with our ethos. Training activity champions I've spoken about, but also we got money for an e-learning project. E-learning is a way, I always think e-learning should be a way to reinforce actual face-to-face training rather than e-learning per se as something on its own. But we've got money for it, and again, it's a credit to the Orchard Trust that we're leading in that, so that's good. The Trust Our Voice group, the carers and sharers, which we need to get on the website, and that's a tribute to Val. She's really taken off, and we didn't communicate with parents so well as I thought, and now, thanks to Val, I think we do. Because communication is a hard part of the trust group, because as you can see from the last year, an awful lot changes, week to week, let alone year on year, and it's sometimes hard for us to communicate with parents, sometimes they aren't on email, so that's what we do, and Val's done a great job there. Now here's the cells. Ace Halloween Coffee Morning is on Friday the 30th of October, the day before Halloween, at our learning centre. And the cafe, again, these are open to everybody. In Age of Children in Need is on the 12th of November, again at the learning centre. If you don't know where it is, I think nearly all of you do here. Please come along and support us. And it's nice that we're supporting children in need. It's not just, we don't just take from society, we give stuff back to, which I like. And then the Christmas word. Christmas Cafe is on the 3rd of December. And the Christmas Carol service, which Robert always plays at, is the 6th of December. And the Vintage Tea Party on the 18th. So again, it's going to be a busy December for us, which it always is. Last year, I went to my first Christmas Carol concert on November the 26th. So by Christmas Day, I was caroled out. But yeah, but it's really, really good. Yeah. And Christmas cards, again, this is the sale. Christmas cards, £1.50 a pound, or £5 for £3. And I think they're at the back, Sarah?
Yep.
They're at the back. So please buy them at the end of the meeting. And thank you very much. And now, the grand Trust Our Voice presentation. Thank you very much.
Welcome to the Orchard Trust 2050, presented Dean Graham and Paul McChesney. We would like to tell you what the Trust Our Voices group has been up to this year. Trust Our Voices members are Paul McChesney, Dean Graham, Christopher French, Gareth Humber, Jane Davis and Martin Burden. Logo. we have discussed our logo. Gareth Humber logo was voted by Gareth by the members. Newsletter. We have curated a newsletter, and the third condition were being going out, so this created to the homes and family members website. The Orchard Trust website has been talked about. It is updated with what we discussed. It also has linked to the newsletter and forms. Uh-oh. This is me working at the office. Yeah, spot on. Have your say forms. These forms were created by the group. They were sent to all the service users to find out people's thoughts of on the homes. The information was gathered and the managers were told. Quality visits. First, our voices will be involved in visiting the new homes where the support of our manager, Paul McChesney. Welcome, Paul. Has been voted to do this. But I come to support Paul. I come to do a grand job. Sounds fair. The group has a stall at the summer fair store selling toffee apples. We're told were made by the group. Jane Davis went to the fundraising meeting to ask for ingredients. I was doing it right. Holiday forms. Gareth Humber has made holiday feedback forms so people can share their thoughts about their holiday. First aid training. The group has first aid training which went very well. We were having safeguarding training next month. New chair, Paul McChesney, has been voted as the new chairman and being handed over in the last meeting. Thank you for your time. We look forward to seeing you next year.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Larry. I joined the trust on I think it was the 10th of February. Well, I didn't actually join, I was rampaging into it because we were 3 people turned up and we ended up being chairman, secretary and treasurer, so it was a good deal really. But anyway, we joined the friends, with one of my wife Celia, and Sheila as well, and one of our friends Gaina. And the idea was and we're also parents of the service users as well. So, the aim of it was our aim of it was to raise funds. It could be distributed amongst our 6 homes, the small holding, the slim gym, and the learning centre. That is our, like Gareth said, we're not raising vast amount at the moment, but we're new to this. And I think when we get it going and we get it to buzz, he's going to say something different this year. Anyway, we are asking the 9 units to come up with a wish list up to the value of £200 to £300 to enrich their lives in, for example, a caravan, a game, books, outdoor equipment, or trips out. So far, we've had 2 bingo nights, and they were both a good success. We raised a total value so far of £766.50p. So for 2 all the prizes, the wife and Gaynor, to be fair, raised the majority of the prizes. They went round Lidney, Ross, and they went into shops and begged and offered to give people kisses. I don't know what else was going on. But anyway, they've done really, really well. So the boy heart goes out to the wife and to Gaynor for that. Gaynor's not here, but she is, so well done. Yeah. So anyway, I've lost myself now. Yeah, right. So that was the bingo night. Next year we would like to have a 70s evening, or a quiz night, coffee mornings, or whatever. And yes, more bingo. But we're also giving the service users a Christmas party on December the 12th, which Gareth forgot to put up on. But yeah, we got all that sorted, it's booked, and we've got it all organised, so I think that'll be a good night out for all the service users anyway. So I expect 1 or 2 of the carers will get drunk that night. Right, and we've also opened a bank account now, so we're all legal, so nobody can go off on and have help themselves sort of thing. And basically what we're trying to do is we're also going around the houses to meet the staff and actually the users as well, just to get a feel for what the users are getting out of the home or out of the house, and what actually enriches or what turns them on in their own little dwelling, if you like. And that's the idea of giving this wish list. If we can help them in any way, that is the aim. That's what we're all about, is trying to help the trust. And if we can enrich their little lives, if it's only a little thing, to me it means a lot. So that's the only way I got to say. Oh, and one more before I go. I strongly recommend it. It's about time we start looking for another manager.
Larry?
If anybody got a gun, I've got a cup in the boot if anybody wants one. But he's very nice, but he keeps missing things, which annoys me with Gareth. There was 3 of us stood out in the rain for nearly 3 hours on the summer fete, and we had all the lovely photographs of people indoor eating cakes. And there was us outside dripping wet with boots and wellies on and whatever. We didn't even get an answer. So thank you, Gareth.
I went for the photogenic people, Larry.
Meeting. Yes, yeah, thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you, everybody.